Good morning, Lincoln, Nebraska. Happy Tuesday. Welcome to the morning hookup. Hello, Clark Irville. Just back on the ones and threes on a good start to a Tuesday. Hope your Tuesday's off to a great start. Going to be a hot one today. Oh, Lord. It was hot yesterday. Swampy. Going to be even worse today. I think we're in there the heat advisory from like 1 to 9 today. Could get as high as 107.
I saw that number start with a 9, and I went, "Oh boy, we're in for one, aren't we?"
All that tells you is the College World Series is about to be in town.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
Because the College World Series is going to give you the full gamut of Nebraska late spring, early summer weather, which is 110 heat index, followed up by the craziest thunderstorm you've ever seen that rolled through at a random time in the middle of the afternoon that scares all the Southerners.
Also, I would be remiss if I didn't say it also needed to happen because the World Cup is weekend. There's been a flood of Europeans invading the continent. They needed to experience the full array of weather while they're here, the full complement of what the United States topography and meteorology could offer them.
Did you see? Speaking of, did you see the Australian guy that flew into Kansas City? And the Kansas City News found him. He's wearing like a full Australian get-up outfit with the jersey and everything. I'm like, so why'd you choose to fly into Kansas City? If I remember correctly, Australia's not even playing there.
He's here for the experience.
Isn't Australia playing in the USA's pod in Seattle and Los Angeles?
I believe so.
What is he doing in Kansas City?
No, and this is what's funny, is he said he looked at a map and saw that Kansas City was halfway between Los Angeles and New York and halfway between Mexico and Canada. And then he got here and said, I didn't realize how big this country was.
Yeah, it's not like the UK where you can drive top to bottom in about 8 hours.
Yeah, he thought it was going to be a nice little central location for him to.
I don't think he realized that.
He can just get in the car and go, well, I'll just go there.
That's still 22 hours to the coast.
Yeah, but to be fair, well, have you seen like what parts of Australia are actually able to be lived in?
Yeah, it's like a very small percentage in the eastern portion of Australia. The rest of the western stuff is all like farmland and barren desert.
Nothing.
They had a war against emus out there back in the day. They lost a war to emus, but I digress. I mean, that's the kind of competition we got going up in our pool. We got a live animal, a turkey. We've got a country that lost the war to emus, and then we've got wonderful Paraguay. I'm not going to slander Paraguay. Wonderful little country down there, but a country that lost the war to emus and a live animal, and you're telling me the USA is going to lose that pool? Give me a break. Anyway, I digress.
Anyway, so Australia's first game is in Vancouver.
Not even on the continent.
He missed it.
So Vancouver, they play Saturday. They play in Seattle against the USA a week from Friday, and then the following week they are playing Paraguay in Santa Clara.
Swing and a miss in Kansas City.
I digress. It's still on the continent. It's not in the country. Vancouver, wonderful place, by the way. Great people, great scenery up there. It is a bucket list trip if you've never been.
By the way, that was a great Winter Olympics way back in the day when Vancouver hosted.
Yes, Vancouver is absolutely amazing as a city. British Columbia, what a wonderful province. The problem is Kansas City's quite a bit away from British Columbia. He's probably going to have to hop on another red eye and get out there, you know. It's gonna make sure your passport's valid. Although I'm sure it is if you got into the U.S.
I'll show you just a swing and a miss. That's all.
So I was gonna say, like, I'm not sure how many Europeans and foreigners are going to be getting the Midwest experience, but clearly one from Australia is.
There's this German guy who's been going around like North Carolina. He ended up in Tennessee, and somebody said you need to go to Pigeon Forge, and I'm like, you know what? The Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. The Pigeon Forge, Tennessee Tourism Board has been working overtime on my Instagram feed lately. I've been seeing like 3 different scenic attractions from Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. And so I finally get a hold of my girlfriend. I get a hold of my buddy from Tennessee, and I'm like, I think the tourism board's working overtime. It's like, hey, great place. And I'm like, well, honey, that's where the first trip's going to have to be.
I've never even heard of Pigeon Forge.
They got a lot of scenic attractions out there. Did you know that they have a Scooby-Doo themed mini golf course? Yes, I didn't either until about 3 reels about it popped up.
Research,
Elijah, research.
I don't plan on ever.
More the rest of the week on Pigeon Forge.
On Pigeon Forge. Don't worry, we'll come back with
Pigeon Fort or Forge?
Forge. Pigeon Forge facts. That's what we're going to.
I'm still not going to be looking it up, but I'm glad we're clear on that.
Oh man, a lot to get to today as we'll embark on NBA last night. We'll get to that. In NHL Game 4 is upon us. This College World Series field is set. Dates and time to bracket is out. Brian Munson, HuskerLine.com, and hour number 2. Big topics with Mr. Munson and a rewarding week for Nebraska football there. More on the Storsby backlash we'll get to as well today, because there's a lot of heat being poured on that right now and locally. Mr. Dan poured some gasoline on that one.
Remember, I'm not sure if it was this conversation or this show we had this conversation, but there was like, man, if Nebraska were to get better, would they ever schedule a home and home with Texas Tech?
Nope. Not now. Close that book, and if you're on the schedule, get them off.
Because Rule and McGuire were seemingly good friends. And you thought maybe if Nebraska gets things moving in the right direction, they find themselves a top 25 team, maybe you get that home and home with Texas Tech, an old Big 12.
Not happening.
Nope.
Not currently in the current state, because there's a few ADs that have said, we're not doing it. Get them off your schedule. Don't schedule them. Sources are saying now is the Big 12 conference call today at some point to discuss the direction of the Big 12. That's a big one. So we'll get to that as well as we keep rolling along on a Tuesday. But game 3 last night, big one, must win for the Spurs. Spurs come through. They get it done 115-111. Wemby, big night. He showed you what it was about, 32, 8, and 6 last night. But you got it. Again, this is the game where for the Spurs to get it done, their bench, their role players better than Knicks last night, what it came down to. The star of stars, Wemby 32, Brunson 32, had a pretty nice night last night. But you got 23 from Castle. Fox gave you 12. Big-time shot late in that game to keep that to 5. 12, 11. Dylan Harper, by the way, magnificent last night in his role, 13 and 9 and 4. Just too much of the Spurs last night. Spurs stepped up to the moment last night more than anything, as they were up 12 early in that game, or in the first half. I think went to the locker room down 5 or 7, but responded in a big way in the third and the fourth.
I don't think the media, and specifically the New York media, did the Knicks any favors going into that game. I felt that a lot of media out there had prematurely already
crowned the
Knicks as this year's champion. They're up 2-0 after being on the road. Now they come back home in front of this crowd. You have segments on the world news last night where they're sitting down and talking with Brunson and Coach Brown. Listen, this series is still up for grabs, and the Spurs proved that last night. That's what I thought. I thought the Knicks, so many people since game 2 have been telling them that, it's finally the year for the Knicks. I think I came back and bit them yesterday. I don't blame it fully on how the media handled this circus kind of going into game 3, but I don't think it did the Knicks any favors. I think they were smelling their own farts just a little bit.
Yeah, when I saw the game, I mean, the Spurs seem to have a renewed sense of urgency, which when the Spurs are a team playing with desperation, they are one of the most dangerous teams in the league, because it is the best part about the Spurs, they are a young team who doesn't know any better, right? The lights will not be too bright for them in some moments because they just don't know any better. Dylan Harper went to work last night. I don't know if you guys saw that.
I watched that. Boy, talking about a guy, and you've mentioned this before, the number of finishes and the way he finishes at the bucket it's unheard. Dude, it's unheard of.
That's a Cheesecake Factory menu waiting to happen right there. I mean, it's long, it's expansive, and you can have a number of different options that you want on your plate. But there was a sequence last night where I knew the Spurs had this in the bag. They come down. I think they get a Champagny open 3 at the top of the key. This is towards the tail end of the third quarter. Then Jordan Clarkson, with 5 seconds left, hits this ridiculous step back 3 in a guy's face just as the shot clock's about to expire, and it fires the Garden up right. Dylan Harper comes back down. He goes, it gets it on the right wing. He goes, he attempts to drive, backs it out, tween cross, step back, buries a 3 in the guy's face in 13 seconds, and then points at the wrist. And I'm like, this game's over. I'm like, if this kid's going like that, screw what Wemby does. Screw what, Julian Champagny does, what Devin Vassell does, De'Aaron Fox. If this kid's going, these guys are cooked.
Yeah.
And he had it in full gear last night.
This is one of the first finals games I've watched in a long time. But to me, it looked like you said the Spurs looked like the aggressive basketball team last night. And I would say to me, it wasn't desperation. They thrived in the moment. That team, like you said, they are young enough, don't know enough about enough. They thrived in that moment. They played the villain in that one and took it right to them. I watched part of that at halftime. I'm like, man, will the Spurs respond after kind of getting punched in that second quarter, because they were cruising 12-14, kind of hang around. Then you get the smack in the face run by the Knicks, and they just respond with a +8 in the third quarter. And now Mike Brown had a lot to say about the free throw disparity in the second half. 24-8.
I thought the Spurs were the more aggressive team in the second half.
That's where I was going. I thought they're the ones that took the fight to them.
They punched him in the mouth. They punched the New York Street Bully in the mouth and said, "Get up and do something about it." And they didn't. They laid on the canvas.
Which I hate that response from Coach Brown after the game. I hate that response because this is the freaking NBA Finals, and as we just mentioned, that wasn't, I think, a free throw disparity because the refs, they want this series to be interesting. It's a free throw disparity because the Spurs were more desperate, I thought. They looked like they wanted it more. They were the aggressor.
Well, they attacked the rim.
Exactly.
They were a straight attack. They were not settling last night in the second half of that game. They were all attacking, whether it be Castle or Harper or Wembanyama getting in the post more than he had in the first couple of games.
That's your thing. Is they when the Spurs are at their best, they are sledgehammering the ball into the paint. They are taking a big old mallet and they are whamming it in there and playing whack-a-mole in the paint. That's what they want to do. That's where they're at their best. They're a physical ball club that's meant to be physical on the interior. Listen, people can make what they want about the foul discrepancy. They can say what they want about the modern NBA. At some point, you got to buck up and figure out how to guard somebody.
You're in the finals first.
You're
in the finals.
You're in the finals, and you're getting paid double figures and millions, right? You need to figure out how to get out there and get a stop. I thought Karl Anthony Towns actually has been pretty solid defensively in these finals.
First two games, I think, have been great for him.
His third game was okay.
He was inefficient last night on the offensive end more than anything. What do you have? I think I read or saw it's like 11 points on 10 shots.
Yeah, and you might expect that Cat will make some adjustments because you adjust to the adjustments, right? Good teams make adjustments. Great teams make counter adjustments. That's what you end up doing. But listen, I thought there was a lot of uncharacteristic passivity on the part of Jalen Brunson. I thought he tried to force the issue at times, and then I thought times he really tried to delegate almost too much. And he left a lot of responsibility for Josh Hart. And, Josh Hart's a great player. Josh Hart does not need that kind of offensive load in the NBA Finals. You need to go be a number one star. This is now a really interesting series because now everybody kind of written the Spurs off for dead, and they came back with a vengeance. And listen, the Knicks may go on to close this out, but the Spurs are not going to make it easy. They're not just going to roll over and hand them a finals. That's not what they're going to do.
I would tell you right now after that game, I think all the pressure shifted just all the way back to the Knicks.
Mm-hmm. You're up 2-1.
I think this is a game of huge magnitude for them in game 4. Obviously, Hooks, what are you saying? They're up 2-1. You end up giving up game 4 to the Spurs.
Oh my
best
gosh.
of 3.
If you drop both
best
home
of 3,
games,
you lose both at home. Best of 3,
you gift home court advantage back to the Spurs.
Back to them. This is hair on fire time for the Knicks, and they cannot get caught slipping back in New York in a couple of days, in my opinion, on that one.
Well, imagine how quickly the series would go from Knicks in the driver's seat to the Knicks are screwed.
Mm-hmm.
It's a drop game 4, and you have lost all momentum in the series. Gone from everyone anointing you as the next NBA champion.
Oh, they were celebrating in the streets, man. It was like 2-0. What could go wrong?
They were the champion-elect, man. The champion-elect. And think about that.
And they got to dump that now.
And think about that. Elijah's right. What's going to happen if you drop that? And not only does the fan base turn on you, that media machine that had been working so much in your favor.
You know how reactionary that is in New York.
Oh, yeah, dude. They will flip the script at a hair trigger. They found out the Metropolitans are 4.5 games out of the wild card, and all of a sudden, can the Mets make a run? You have a $373 million payroll. I don't want to hear it, but that's how reactionary it is. It is the drop of a dime out there. It is the flip of a switch. They can turn on you and they can love you just as quick.
It's a lot of weight to carry.
Mm-hmm.
Being a professional sports team in New York, especially right now with the Knicks, first time in 26 years hosting a finals game. There's New York happiness is set solely on the shoulders of the New York Knicks.
And when was the last time the Knicks faced true scrutiny from the New York media?
Probably the 2018-2019 seasons where people were really trying to push James Dolan out.
Oh,
so that was the last time. If you guys remember that saga, they tried to push him out.
Push him out. didn't he have was that the same year that Charles Oakley was escorted out of the Garden?
It was somewhere around that time period where Charles Oakley gets escorted out of the Garden, and he's still not allowed back in, by the way.
Which is crazy because he's been at road games.
And James Dolan is still this is before they hired Leon Rose. This is before they hired a couple of their other front office staffers, but Leon Rose being the primary guy. This is before he got in and really put his stamp on things, and that was a toxic place to be. And ever since then, it's kind of been kumbaya. They've been making playoffs. Everybody's happy again.
There was a slight bit of toxicity whenever Halliburton went off on you in the postseason last year, because there was a lot of excitement with what that Knicks team, if last year could be the year for them.
And
they faced a little bit.
The Trae Young thing, the Trae Young Hawks Knicks thing, that kind of turned into a mini rivalry and still has some real roots to it.
But if you drop game 4, that'll get ratcheted up to 10. That'll get ratcheted up to 11.
It's gonna be hot.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be hot, especially headed back to San Antonio.
You're going to find out who the cooks in the kitchen are.
All those folks that were partying on the street 2 days ago will be the folks that are
tearing the city apart.
Torches and pitchforks.
They were trying to tear it apart last night in the first loss at home, unfortunately.
So, Knicks, to me, the question moving forward in the series is, what's the Knicks' mental fortitude?
Yep. After dropping one that was, within their grasp last night, and how they respond, because the Spurs responded and found a way to get points and hold the Knicks offense down.
You got to be the desperate team now if you're the Knicks. Yep. And you got to flip that switch quick.
I don't know if you guys, I mentioned this to Justice earlier, being a taller individual that he is. The interview afterwards, they had Wemby on the court.
It's so badly cropped.
It's so badly messed up. Lisa Salter, poor Lisa Salter, was doing the interview last night. Did you see this?
I missed this.
All you see is her hand and Wemby. I'm like, man, somebody help this out.
Get her a stool.
You realize how tall he is, right? Yeah. You realize how tall he is. That's a big dude.
Tell the cameraman, take a couple steps back, fix the frame, get a stool, something.
And I don't know if Chuck was watching most of the game last night. He was zeroed in on Cardi B last night at halftime.
Yeah, he was going through his Chuck ABCs.
Yes,
that's what he was going through.
It wasn't B's, it was D's for Cardi B last night. So more to come. We got a couple of days off, or a day off. They'll go back June 10th, back at New York for game 4. Let's take a break. Let's come back. Let's go into the Sorsby thing. I think we got to go there. The backlash. We know yesterday there was an injunction, temporary injunction, allowing him back into college football to practice and all that. Now the heat has turned up. A lot of conferences. Your athletic director is talking. George's athletic director is talking a whole lot more. Let's talk about that when we return. Did you hear Barkley last night?
No. After the game?
No, it was halftime.
Oh, no.
Halftime, he goes, Cardi B was performing, and she was in a little risque outfit. He goes, I'll paraphrase, but it was like, those aren't Cardi B's. They look like Cardi D's. Chuck. Come on, Chuck.
No Robin today?
Nope. Robin Washit is on sabbatical for a few days. He's out. He's off the grid.
Good man.
He's off the grid.
Didn't know if that was going to be because of basketball or not.
Yep. He'll be back next Tuesday, on a Tuesday.
Man.
I'm glad Justice did bring up that that's been road tripping through the South as part of the World Cup.
That's been great content. I can't lie.
It's been good. No, the problem being, I deleted the social media apps from my phone yesterday.
You did it?
Yeah,
we talked. Okay,
I did it. I had a very enjoyable, Monday evening. Let it be known. And that was the first thing I wanted to do whenever I popped open my laptop. Was all right. Well,
you're like, I gotta dig back in.
I'll check out some Sorsby, some stuff, some NBA final stuff. But first, what's Freddie the German doing down in the South right now?
He has
he went to a Chili's last night.
Chili's.
What did he get?
It looks like fajitas.
You got fajitas?
Looks like fajitas.
Hey,
those places like that, the Chili's and the Bees out there,
dude. Let it be
known. Go wrong with fajitas.
No, and I've seen people sometimes don't like those chain restaurants, and I get it. I'd much rather folks support local.
Yes.
That being said, those companies have spent hundreds of millions of dollars on the food science side of things to make sure that every meal you get at those restaurants is both A, consistent, and B, delicious. I can understand you want to support local, but some people are like, oh, those places are gross. But no, I highly disagree with that.
How
take.
About the thought,
Chili's in South Lincoln is
Some of those are supporting local because there's local owners in those teams.
Mm-hmm. Shout out
we used to back in my Bees days. The fun thing to do was they would heat the skillets up on the stove. It was like legit. You heated them up, and I'd have to constantly tell the guys in the back they'd have the oil. Fire, like it would be so hot. Like, dude, you can't do that.
That's why you had to cool it down with ice cubes.
You're setting the place on fire.
Cool it down with ice cubes.
Or they like to mess with people, like the fryers be going. Like this is like we stopped it. Okay. The common joke back there for the guys would be the fryers are hot, like 350 degrees, right? They throw an ice cube in the fryer. It doesn't go well.
No, that's a classic prank though.
Yeah, like, come on, boys.
If your prank is burning down the restaurant you're in,
they try to get the hottest skillet possible to fajita, so it would smoke out the servers as they were taking it out. Be a smoke.
All right, we're coming back, fellas.
No.
Welcome back to Hookup, where like Pauly D is like jumped into Justice's body over time. Second calling would be like on the Vegas Strip nightclub DJ. See? Not yours, son.
Just find him. He said, "Nope,
Stop,
no rhythm, too white.
Stop."
No, I'm a terrible dancer. It's unfortunate.
You gave it a shot though.
I give effort. Give me at a wedding. I give effort.
You put yourself out there.
Yeah, but if there's dance club or dance floor videos that come like the next morning after the wedding, I'm like, please, not me in there.
In another life, it goes Steve Aoki, Big Diesel, Justice Rhodey. In terms of celebrity/influencer DJs, because Steve Aoki now falls in that category.
We need Justice to do weddings. That's what we need.
Dude, my wedding playlist would be absolutely wonderful.
Told you.
I knew it.
Listen. I mess around on Spotify DJ from time to time. All right,
let's just get it out there. Let's be honest.
Let's be honest here. Sometimes, we got to let a white boy get a little motion.
Speaking of somebody who didn't do it, sometimes he did it a lot, and that's Brendan Swordby in the gambling game. He did it a lot over time. Yesterday, we were told there was a temporary injunction that will allow him to get back in the mix. You back to facilities, all this stuff. I'm going to get a 2-game suspension. Boy, did it not take long for backlash. Troy Dannon comes out to your Nebraska athletic director and says, not scheduling them. If you have them on your schedule, get them off now. Georgia's AD has now come out and said that as well. Big 12 looking to have a meeting of the minds coming up with their commissioner coming up, what the Big 12 is going to do, how they're going to react in this moment. Boy, a lot to unpack here with this and the way college football itself feels about what just happened. And this decision, if not reversed, NCAA is going to, I think they've already quickly appealed in a speedy appeal process. This would cripple anything in those 4 letters ever had from the governing body standpoint. They would just be gone, exempt, no more. It wouldn't matter what they said going forward.
So it's this, and it's not the best comparison, but it's the old adage, straw that broke the camel's back.
Mm-hmm.
For all the things that have gone wrong with the NCAA in the past 5 years and all the losses in court, it does feel a little strange to me that this is the one that has made people finally go, okay, we're not going to schedule Texas Tech anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Slightly virtue signaling in that, okay, well, yeah, we would never do this. We'd never play an ineligible player like this and go fight it in court. There's been plenty of options for schools throughout the years to voice their displeasure with the lack of any true leadership in college football. I am glad there is finally something that has sparked a conversation here in terms of college football can't move forward with a governing body that is so toothless. And that's what this is. I mean, if you have a rule in place that a school can just go and take to the court of law, get that rule thrown out and get your player eligible, there are no rules. And you can't play any sport with no rules. Yep. It's not going to function moving forward. So the fact that schools are finally pushing back and saying, you know what, if Texas Tech wants to play this game, we're just not going to play them. Cool. I hope this gets more changes at the top in terms of the leadership structure in college football, that we can have a governing body that is actually able to go and enforce rules. I mean, the only rules that have been enforced recently were when Iowa goes and self-reports, which I have a lot more respect for Iowa for all the self-reporting that they've done on themselves and the players that they've got suspended, the coaches that they've got suspended because they want to play by the rules, because this just shows no one else in college football cares to play by the rules.
I totally get it. Now, the other standpoint that I want to attack this on is, I know Texas Tech made a substantial financial investment in getting Brendan Sorsby into the program. What is the risk reward? What is the cost benefit ratio that eventually they look at this from a legal standpoint, from how much money they're putting in this, and they just say this isn't worth it? What's the threshold? Do you put $6 million into this? Do you put 7? Do you put 8? Do you put 9? Do you put 10? Do you put even more than that before finally you go, you know what, for all of our investment, I think there's a bit of sunken cost fallacy going on with this, just a little bit. I think there's also a bit of they want to protect their investment, because when you put your monetary funds, your U.S. currency into something, you naturally tend to have a little bit of an emotional connection to that, whether that be minuscule or whether that be maximized to the nth degree. There is a risk-reward, cost-effectiveness ratio that comes into this, where at some point it will not be profitable and it will not be emotionally worth it for Texas Tech to continue with this monetarily to try to keep Brendan Sorsby eligible. I don't think they particularly care about the backlash. If they cared about the backlash, Cody Campbell wouldn't be involved with the program.
If they cared about the backlash, they would have already said, look, this isn't right. This isn't right. This is clearly stated by the NCAA. The levels of gambling are clearly defined. Okay? We've already seen instances of it defined. I mean, we can talk about it a couple years back when Euless sat on our Nebraska bench for a year.
And probably altered the course of his career doing that.
Right? But this is clearly defined. If they really cared, they would have said, you know what? This is where we're at. But this is, I think you nailed it. It's this investment piece. And that's what's going around. They're probably all this money invested in one individual or an entire program, because you got your quarterback, you built the entire team around that quarterback. So it's not just the money you've gotten to him, to quarterback, it's everybody else that's gotten invested in this deal.
Well, and this is not a case where the facts are in doubt.
No, he's admitted it. He admitted
he checked himself into rehab.
He openly admitted it to thousands of bets on sports, including 40 of his own team representing the
that's cut and dry. And what they're arguing is, well, if you let this rule stand, it's going to really harm his mental health. The poor guy.
This poor kid is not going to have the access to top-notch facilities or practice and mental, all this stuff. Oh, and he might miss the supplemental NFL draft. And what's he going to do the next year?
Which I can understand a portion of that. I can understand hey, if you take somebody out of a familiar environment after they have been, in a real rehab program, yeah, that can be kind of jarring, and that can screw with somebody's mental health. I know there's real world ramifications to that stuff. At the same time, we are now trying to make somebody play a victim that is in a privileged position in this country. And he has access to more monetary funds than about 95% of this country will ever have in their bank account. And so to play the victim with this is sad and it's horrible.
And where do you draw the line between the rules infraction and the mental health?
Right.
What rule infraction is over the line where, okay, now their mental health no longer matters?
When you actively do something to disrupt the integrity of the sport, which this can be argued as such.
This feels incredibly over the line.
Pete Rose type stuff.
It feels like you keep on moving the line back. And if you keep on moving the line back because you can just take whatever upsets you and take it to court and get the NCAA's, first it's an injunction, but you can just get essentially the NCAA's rule thrown out to get your guy to play. You're just going to keep on moving it further and further back until some judge is going to have to put their foot down, and no judge wants to put their foot down, especially in Texas.
And you know who was the litmus test for all this, and we didn't even know it at the time? The University of Michigan. Mm-hmm. Because guess what? There was a real ramification of allegations of on-field cheating, something that would directly impact the outcome of games, and the NCAA gave him a slap on the wrist and a pat on the back.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they did. And they handed it to him, and they said, okay, this guy can't be involved, this guy can't be involved, we're going to do this, this, and this, but we're not going to actually vacate wins or strip national championships. That's the litmus test for this now. So how far are we willing to go with this? Are we going to actually have somebody get their career and their life potentially shortened or altered by something that happens on the field for this to finally change?
And that's kind of what I was saying earlier of like, why wasn't this saying, hey, we're not going to schedule Michigan anymore whenever Michigan was clearly found to be cheating and it directly led to them winning a national championship? Why didn't college football throw up their hands then and say, all right, we're not going to schedule Michigan anymore? With the tampering that's been running rampant, why didn't anyone in college football throw up their hands and say, okay, if we have evidence internally that you're tampering, we're not going to schedule you anymore? This was the place where apparently college administrators and athletic directors are drawing the line. I just wonder why it took this long. That's why I think there's part of this is a little bit of virtue signaling in terms of the fact, we're seeing that fan bases across the country are PO'd, so we're gonna be in line with our fan base and not want to schedule Texas Tech. This has been a boulder rolling downhill for a long time now
at a very accelerated speed.
And I'm glad that ADs and administrators are finally putting their foot down, but it took too long.
Yeah, and
this system's been broken for years now.
And it's probably the wrong athletic directors to be doing it, if I'm going to be honest, because I wouldn't say that Georgia and Nebraska are pillars of virtue in college football. Because Georgia has had several players with criminal records on their roster and let them play. And Nebraska's strength and conditioning program, you could argue, wasn't all that clean.
To me,
there's real allegations and real ramifications behind this, and now you got Michigan fans throwing their towels behind it. Give me a break. They openly cheated and got a slap on the wrist.
To me, that screams, I want to be the first to say something.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's going back to, back when during the days when Nebraska said we want to play football. We're bringing college football back. Yes, they did at the time. This just screams to me, hey, let's be first. Let's say it's not right first. And again, it's Nebraska. It's Dannon, right? Whatever. They just want to be first.
Yeah, and Nebraska ain't scheduling Power 4 non-con games anyway. We all know the way it is.
Why would you schedule those games? It doesn't help you get in the playoff, and especially if the playoff expands.
Especially not to be 8-4 and you're in the top 24.
Iowa.
Yeah.
I know the little message I was sent out was if you have Texas Tech on your schedule. I haven't seen any team that had Texas Tech on their schedule.
Maybe softball, like a neutral site tournament.
They did this year, correct? Softball?
Yeah. And like an invitational in Florida. And I know that there's been tires kicked on, potentially, maybe down the road, maybe basketball was going to try to get Texas Tech on the schedule. That's probably not going to happen anymore.
When it could have been one of those. I think what we talked about, it could be football too, with the relationship between head coach to head coach. Maybe that was going to play. But to me, that's just screaming, hey, look at me, look at me. I'm going to be first to say it.
But those guys,
nobody wants to say it. Little Nebraska in the Big Ten wise, and they are the little guys right now amongst the trees, is saying, hey, don't do it. We're done. Come with me. Who's coming with me?
You know who would carry more weight if they did it? Ohio State. Ohio State, or
they've been quiet right now.
Texas was already not going to schedule them. Texas was already looking to pull out of it. Great excuse for Texas to pull out of that series, by the way. If Chris Del Conte wants a way out of that, you just got a get out of jail free card.
Yep.
You can throw up the ethics conversation, wipe your hands clean, and not play them.
Because in the grand scheme of things of Ohio State, Texas Tech doesn't matter.
Right? So if they said something about it and they're like, hey, we're not going to schedule them, okay, then they might carry more weight. Now, Georgia probably carries some weight because they are a college football power. Nebraska's doing this just to get out ahead of this and try to get some good PR and say, hey, we want to wipe our hands clean, because I'm going to tell you right now, if you're a good college football program, you're probably skirting the rules in some way. That's just the way it goes.
Yes, and where do you draw the line? Where is the line of A, morality, B, ethically? Are you still playing a clean football game? Like it's arbitrary where the line is. I think this line has been placed here because they've seen the reaction among fans. But the more important side of this is that Troy Dannon did say in a quote to Ross Dellinger yesterday, I'll just give you the quote. I have not personally advocated for conference self-governance, but today's decision makes it obvious that it is a necessary path forward. We cannot align with institutions who advocate or support player participation in this circumstance. Doing a lot of the heavy lifting there is in this circumstance, which means it's a case-by-case basis. Yeah. But regardless, that is what A.D. Dannon and a lot of athletic directors across the country think the path forward is in order to get some control over college football is to take the power away from the institution, the NCAA, that has clearly shown themselves to be unable to govern all of the teams in college football anymore, and send it over to the conferences who have the financial resources, A, and B, have the power over their member institutions to be able to make meaningful change to the sport.
Yes.
I mean, this is all going to come down to how much is Tech willing to bankroll this? How far are they willing to go? Because they clearly shown they don't mind being villains in college football. They don't mind it. It doesn't really matter to them.
In any sport.
Yeah, and especially when you got your head booster, your chair of your booster committee in Cody Campbell going on Twitter taking pot shots at other programs. Okay, you clearly don't care about the morality of this whole situation. They're going to go as far as they think is necessary.
That's the other thing. They're going to go as far as necessary because they will try to build cases. Like, that's probably why some of these programs are quiet, right? If it is in Ohio State, hey, I don't want any part of this. I'm not going to say something. Then they're coming at me. They're looking at me. And they'll be building cases against other programs and other situations. But they're not similar to what's happening right now at that situation.
I mean, clearly the line of integrity has been crossed in this situation. But where else do you draw the line of integrity with? Like, why, as I already said, I don't mean to repeat myself here, but why was the line of integrity for athletic directors not crossed whenever Michigan had a systemic issue of cheating that seemed to be advocated from the top down in that football program? Why did that not cross the line for folks to say, we're not going to schedule Michigan anymore?
Hey, and funny thing, Michigan also has a super booster in Larry Ellison. Don't let them forget that, because they got a guy who's also got a big bankroll. They only paid a reported $10 million NIL package for Bryce Underwood. It was reported like that's what it was known as, that they were willing to fork out upwards of $10 million for one guy on a multi-year package. You think that team doesn't have some sort of bankroll behind them, you would be sadly mistaken. But this is a situation where how far are we willing to go with this? Like if Michigan wasn't enough, Texas Tech isn't going to be enough. Where's the line? Where's the line going to be? Because Georgia's fielding like people with criminal records, and now you're going to have guys that might actively be using steroids and say, hey, we're going to, or somehow they're going to chemically or genetically modify their bodies so that they can perform at a higher level than a normal athlete on the field. Where's the line for this? And also, if you're Nebraska, if you get out in front of this and you say, hey, like, we're not doing any of this, what's going to happen when you take a controversial player or a controversial figure on your coaching staff? Guess where all that blowback comes? Right back at you.
Because the line here is not integrity and what's right. The line is, what can we use to assert more control over college football to advantage ourselves?
Yeah.
This will be something to monitor. You talk about timing of this. Is the fact that the NCAA has filed the appeal, an accelerated appeal, but it still states that any formal decisions could come after the season starts.
Yeah.
And then if it's after the season starts, move on. You've made your bet at that point.
Yeah, because they'll be curious what the Big 12 decides to do.
Yes. I think that's the thing to monitor, is what happens with these conference calls that are going on, whether it be Big 12, Big 10, I believe, that everybody's getting together.
The Big 12, as far as we know right now, and this is still pretty vague, they have defined a process to address the situation. This is according to Pete Thamel, which begins with a call among the athletic directors of the conference today. The Big 12 Executive Board will meet Thursday to address options. So it's very, very broad and undefined in terms of what the Big 12 is going to do next.
We got a conversation to have a conversation, a meeting to have another meeting. Yeah, is what you just said.
Yes. Honestly, if you're the NCAA and they end up getting this injunction, they end up doing this, and they deem him, and they get an injunction to deem him eligible, vacate the season. Take all their wins away. Whatever they do,
if the NCAA can't do that, but the Big 12 would have to make them ineligible from conference play.
I think overall,
and if you do, who's going to fill the schedule?
That conference communication, what comes out of that, will be another. I mean, obviously, the legal side will be the defining point of this, but what the Big 12, how the Big 12 responds to one of their own, will tell you a lot about that conference and further rulings going forward if this ever occurs again. Forget the Big 10, forget the SEC, what they're talking about, whoever, that'll define this. Because they could sit back and protect one of their own very easily in this situation. So interesting.
But meanwhile, you have an anonymous Big 12 coach yesterday, and I'm going to paraphrase this because I don't have the quote pulled up. But he said this to ESPN yesterday, saying if this is held up, the takeaway from all of this is I need to teach my team how to bet better so they can financially profit off of our games. I need to tell them whenever they can play hard, when they shouldn't play as hard, what lines we're covering so that I can take care of my guys financially. So that's the lesson if Sorsby gets to play in 2026.
I had that quote. I can't find it.
How do you get yours?
How do you get yours? Hey, how can we give a guy a $5,000 NIL check for the year, but give them all the resources to be able to profit themselves via Vegas lines?
Wow. Something to monitor for the future and what that means for the NCAA, the sport, all that stuff. So, all right, let's take another break. Let's come back with this day in Steinbrenner hate. No, this day in sports when we return. Schmitty sent me a funny. That's why I was laughing.
Hey, some college baseball news. Kevin Schnall's the new head coach of South Carolina.
I saw that. That's an interesting.
And Cooper Katsky's in the transfer portal.
Yep. That's Schmitty's comment. I couldn't read it out loud. That's my illusion. I'll show you. But the illusion is like some of these teams don't want to get involved because it's like, man, they start looking at me.
Yeah, who wants to open their mouth? And everybody's like, wait a minute. Remember the time that because like Ohio State opens their mouth. The Art, is it Art Schleister? I don't know how to.
Remember when your wide receiver coach had stuff sent to the office? Your wide receiver coach. Remember that guy?
Mm-hmm. You and the guy who's at South Florida now?
Yeah. I think in the grand scheme of this entire thing, that nobody cares about.
Mm-hmm.
It's the person. How this defines that kid.
Yeah, how does this define Brendan Sorsby, the person?
The person. Forget the football player. The person. Okay? The person. The accountability, the consequences that should come along with it. With doing something wrong. It's crazy to me. To me, it's like you run a stop sign, you get caught, what happens? You get a ticket. You pay the ticket. I know that's very minuscule in what we're talking about, but, and I don't want to make
it's a whole conundrum. And quite honestly, the NCAA, no matter how this comes out, has become a parody of themselves. But they can at least restore a little backbone if they get this done.
Well, it's like I think that comes down to how much are they willing to fight and pony up cash to fight.
I'm about to pull out a crazy song for this next one.
We'll see.
That's awesome. I'm doing that one. That's the one I'm starting with. Nowadays, that probably couldn't occur.
I think I know which one you're starting with, though. I saw it. Oh, that one's great.
I was hoping there's some hate for you on there.
No, there's a lot of boxing history.
Oh, yeah.
It's awesome. I love boxing. Secretariat.
It is funny. 11th Belmont, 17th Belmont, 21st Belmont, 22nd Belmont, 26th Belmont.
It's all on there. Is it Belmont this week?
Took place a couple days ago.
It already did.
Belmont took place a couple days ago.
Yeah.
It just
we're
locked in on the other sports.
If it's not the Derby,
the days all blend together.
That is so right in that sport. If it ain't the Derby,
or if they're if they're in a triple crown.
Yes,
stake.
I was going to say, like, if it's not the Derby and the Derby winner is not in the Preakness, it loses everything it's got the rest of the season for them.
I don't even care that much about the Derby, to be 100% honest with you. I find it fascinating, though I'm not going to plan my Saturday around the Kentucky Derby. And if you love it, awesome. More power to you.
And in our world, your world, our world, it's like, where are we at on summer Saturdays usually? You might be behind the dish, or I'm on a bucket.
Yeah.
And I'm not racing home after a Saturday at the ballpark to, like, guys, we got to get home. Derby's on.
Yeah, no, it's like hey, this is on in 30 minutes. Let's
like, we literally, I remember what happened. We got done with baseball. We were up in towards Omaha area, and we walked into a restaurant, and they're like, "Oh, they're running."
Yeah,
and that was it. And it was a bunch of dudes over here like getting after it.
I got into the locker room after my baseball game and checked my phone to see what happened in the race, and I go, "Oh, they're just getting
cool. Oh, it's on."
All right, here we go.
Welcome back in the morning. I've got a few moments left. Thanks for hanging out with us on a Tuesday. Yeah.
I told you I had a crazy
Yeah. Got a lot coming up. Hour number 2. Still can't wait to talk to Ryan Munson. Big weekend. Just past Nebraska football. Hopefully more to come out of that.
You didn't think I would get into Latino techno, did I?
Did not.
Elijah?
Did not. This day in 1946. Is that the one you thought I was going to talk about? Because I think it's awesome. New York Giant Mel Ott. He became the first manager in Major League Baseball history to get ejected twice.
Oh, I was thinking
both games of a doubleheader.
I was thinking the one. Let me go back.
You got ejected twice. Oh, you didn't get enough in the first game. Get out. You want to come back for more? Get out again.
I'm still mad.
Actually. I'm still mad. I wonder how long he lasts. I want to do the research. Like, when he got ejected in the first game and then the second part of the doubleheader, was it like at the lineup card piece?
I wonder if he walked up to the ump and said, "Hey, I got a reservation at 5. Like, we got to run me quick. We got to run me quick for the second one." The first one, I was spending the clubhouse, like, booking the reservation. The second one, like, we need to get me out of here in 3 games.
I'm good, man.
That's what I'm wondering. Hey, in 1945, following an 8-7 win over the Philadelphia Phillies, Brooklyn manager Leo DeRocher is arrested on a complaint by a fan that DeRocher clocked him. He slugged him. He punched him in the face. Oh, shout out Leo DeRocher, one of the great tough men in baseball.
More baseball here. 1914, Pittsburgh Pirates shortstop Honus Wagner becomes the second player to reach 3,000 hits. And that was June 9th, 1914. Can anyone tell me the first player to reach 3,000 hits?
Rogers Hornsby?
No. Cap Anson.
Cap Anson, yeah.
That's the tip of my tongue. I just couldn't get it out.
He did that on July 18th, 1897.
I was right there with you. I was thinking that.
Though it's pre-modern record keeping, there is some debate there about whether or not he was first, but we'll give it to Cap Anson.
1899 American boxer James J. Jeffries KO's defending champion Bob Fitzsimmons of England in the 11th round in Brooklyn, New York to win the lineal world heavyweight title.
This is one.
Which set up eventually the fight of the century.
Mm-hmm.
This is an
Jack Johnson, Jim Jeffries.
Yep, it's true.
As a story developing this year so far, this day, and I'm going to go with 2022. The controversial Live Golf Invitational Series got underway. With PGA suspended 17 participating players, as we now know that maybe that Live Golf is coming to its end 4 years later.
Well, nobody wants to watch it is the big problem.
Yeah,
1973 to get to the horses. The 105th Belmont Stakes. Ron Turncott above Secretariat wins in 2 minutes 24 seconds. Become the first Triple Crown winner in 25 years. One of the greatest horses of all time, Secretariat.
Nice. 1985.
85.
A huge series in NBA basketball history. The Lakers beat the Celtics at the Boston Garden for a 4-2 series victory over the Boston Celtics.
There you go.
Final score in that game, 111-100. Finals MVP that year, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It was huge. That Celtics-Lakers rivalry in that series specifically did huge things to blow up the NBA into national prominence. And the timing was perfect right before Jordan takes the league.
1978, Larry Holmes beats Ken Norton in a 15-round split decision at Caesars Palace for the WBC heavyweight boxing title. Ken Norton, if you guys aren't familiar with boxing history, was a ferocious knockout artist back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
I think his kid ended up playing football for the Cowboys. Ken Norton Jr. I think that's right. If I've got that right. In 1990, Dodgers Eddie Murray ties Mickey Mantle for home runs by a switch hitter in 10 games. Coincidentally, Mickey Mantle won 7 World Series in his time as a Yankee, and the Yankees haven't seen one since 2009.
I knew you were getting there somehow.
Winning pedigree that is the New York Yankees. They find a way to win championships in MLB The Show.
Felt like you were getting there.
You knew I was going to get there. Come on.
I love every bit of that. Hey, in 1939, hey, happy birthday, Dickie V. Dick Vitale's birthday.
Yeah, you know it's all about me, baby. And college basketball's coming back. Nebraska won a tournament game, baby.
Yeah, see? Coming up, little College World Series talk. The field is set. Some good matchups in this one. Ryan Munson.
A lot of recruiting talk.
Yeah. Sit back, relax. We'll be right back.
The adults around them can make all the difference. Parents, teachers, coaches, anyone who shows up in a child's life. Because in those tough moments, kids are looking to the grown-ups around them for support.
If you're at school having a bad day, you just don't want to do anything.
I just get these thoughts like, do better. All my little emotions in my head is just running crazy. I don't know what to do.
As a teacher or coach, do you ever feel overwhelmed?
He's just in tears in the huddle. I was like, what's wrong? And he's just like, I'm just so frustrated, and I didn't know what to do.
None of my undergraduate studies talked about mental health.
Teachers need tons of help.
That's why the Kids Mental Health Foundation provides free expert-developed tools and resources to help adults support the kids they care about.
Having those resources is the same as the CPR class to me. We're trying to save a life here.
Because when adults feel supported, kids do too. Kids Mental Health starts with us. Find free resources at kidsmentalhealthfoundation.org.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting. A teenager. Learning the lingo.
Today I'm going to help parents translate teen slang. Now, when a teen says something is on fleek, it's exactly like saying, that's rad. It simply means that something is awesome or cool. Another one is totes. It's exactly like saying, totally, just shorter. As in, I totes love going to the mall with Becca. Another word you might hear is jelly. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will think you're, rad, just the same. To learn more, visit adoptuskids.org. A public service announcement brought to you by
Lincoln's local news, talk, sports, and weather station. FM 101.5, 1240 AM, KFOR, and KFRX HD3, Lincoln.
From ABC News, I'm Sherry Preston. 5 cases and counting. 3 cows, a goat, and a dog, all infected with a new world screwworm. The Agriculture Secretary insists the nation's food supply is not in danger, but the same pest decimated cattle herds back in the 70s. ABC's Jim Ryan in Dallas-Fort Worth has more on the plan to try and eradicate it with sterile flies.
The federal government hopes to wipe out the screwworm fly by irradiating millions of them and releasing them onto the countryside to mate with non-sterile flies. Agriculture Secretary Brooke Ross Collins says.
Our goal is to have enough sterile flies deployed and out into Texas and wherever else this happens to be before the next summer season.
The only method that we're fighting it with is sterile flies, which do not work.
Texas Agriculture Commissioner Sid Miller is advocating for insecticide baits, which he says are 95% effective in killing the screwworm fly. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
2 Army helicopter pilots rescued by the Navy's first ever drone task force after their chopper crashed near the Strait of Hormuz. ABC's Martha Raddatz is in Jerusalem.
An unmanned Navy surface vessel, a drone boat, was sent to pick up the downed crew. The crew was able to climb aboard the boat, which then delivered them to shore. All of this happened within 2 hours of the helicopter going down.
In about a half hour, NASA will announce the crew for the next Artemis mission. ABC's Gio Benitez is at NASA headquarters in Houston.
This next mission is going to launch next year. It won't go to the moon. It's actually just going to orbit the Earth, but it's going to test the rendezvous and docking capabilities between NASA's Orion spacecraft and the lunar landers from Blue Origin and SpaceX. Those are the same lunar landers that will bring the astronauts to the surface of the moon, but first they've got to test them.
Sales of previously occupied homes picked up last month at their fastest pace since December, a sharp turnaround in demand after a lackluster start to the spring home buying season. Dow's up 100 points. You're listening to ABC News.
Warmer weather is finally here, and that means cookouts,
ball games,
and maybe enjoying some time on the water.
But it also means lots of heavy food, sweets, and maybe an extra adult beverage or two. Thank goodness we both take Active Liver from New Nordic. Did you know your liver works around the clock processing food, sugar, alcohol, and everyday toxins? All the things that can really impact your health.
That's why daily support matters. Active Liver is designed to protect normal liver function and support your body's natural detox process.
With trusted natural ingredients like milk thistle, turmeric, and artichoke extract, it's gentle enough to take all year long.
No harsh cleanses, no extreme detoxes, just simple daily liver support. We really feel the difference.
Active Liver helps us enjoy the good things in life with peace of mind that our liver isn't working overtime. Active Liver is available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com, and you can find it in stores at CVS, Meijer Grocery, Wegmans, and now Active Liver is available at your local GNC.
Fire at a fast food restaurant in Northwest Lincoln. Good morning. I'm Jeff Moats. Right now it's 80 degrees at KFOR. A fire this morning inside the Burger King off of 11th and Cornhusker. According to LFR Public Information Officer MJ Lerman, smoke was reported inside and flames were coming through the roof. Crews were able to knock down the fire. It appears the fire started in a fire and extended up into the roof.
A few people inside. The medic units were there and no one was treated or transported.
Power has been shut off to the building. The investigation is ongoing, and health department officials are on the scene. No word yet when the restaurant will reopen. Going before the Lincoln City Council in a special budget meeting on Monday, Mayor Larry Gaylor Baird laid out her priority items to be considered in the proposed $651 million biennium city budget, which would take effect on September 1st.
The total community investment proposed, tax-funded investment proposed for the upcoming fiscal year is $316 million. And in the following fiscal year, 27-28, it's $334 million.
Public safety and infrastructure improvements are the two big priorities. The City Council will hold a public hearing on the budget August 3rd. The council is set to vote on it on August 24th. You could read more up at KFORnow.com. Heat advisories in effect this afternoon through 9 o'clock this evening involving the Lincoln area. Heat index could be as high as 107 degrees.
We urge residents to take precautions, including staying cool and hydrated, and to closely monitor weather conditions.
Lincoln Lancaster County Health Director Carrie Curtin says that you should drink plenty of water, put on sunscreen, and wear light, loose-fitting clothing if you're going to be outside. She says never leave kids or pets inside a parked car. Also, try to limit your outdoor activity to the coolest parts of the day or evening. You can read more up at KFORnow.com. Again, a heat advisory in effect for 1 this afternoon until 9 o'clock tonight. It will be sunny and hot today with a high of 95. Already up to 80 degrees in Lincoln. I'm Jeff Moats, KFOR News.
Let's go. At Liberty First Credit Union, you don't have to wait to drive the vehicle that you really want. With auto loan rates as low as 2.99%, you can be cruising in a sleek new SUV, sporty coupe, or the perfect family ride loaded with features. Take advantage of low monthly payment options, no prepayment penalties, and financing handled locally by people that you know and you trust. Liberty First Credit Union. Let's go save. Credit factors apply. Rates, terms, and conditions subject to change.
The journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. At Children International, we know that the journey to end poverty for good begins first with a child. It starts with their first checkup, lesson, opportunity, job. That journey takes commitment from people like you and me to end poverty for good. Learn more at children.org. Me to end poverty.
This is the Morning Hookup on KFOR.
Welcome back to the Morning Hookup, hour number 2. Thanks for hanging out with us on a Tuesday. If there's anything that I know that I'm getting from you guys on this show, is uplifting vibe music.
Oh, I can change that.
You're
Get some Alice in Chains going
I
next.
think the
rooster.
Yeah. I think his justice described your weekend playlist as what, divorced playlist?
Yeah, you had the divorced dad rock going.
Yeah.
Divorced uncle.
There you go. But I don't know. When I wake up in the morning and I come in and do the show, I'm like, let's get the day going right. So I like the positive, uplifting, good beat, groove, move. There's some people who wake up in the morning and they're like, I hate my existence. I hate the very thing that we call life.
To me, it depends on the day
I
of
am
the
a
week.
Texas Tech booster. Sorry.
Hopefully there's not people out there like that, but there are.
Depends on the day of the week.
Yeah, the Texas Tech boosters.
My thought was the music could uplift you. That's where I was going.
They're Texas Tech. The first time I ever thought of a Texas Tech booster, you remember Yosemite Sam from the Looney Tunes cartoons? Yeah. Like the way that he looked, the way that he talked. I always thought that's how growing up, that's how I thought like every Texas Tech fan was just like a character, like a caricature of Yosemite Sam. That was the way that my mind imagined that. Anyway, I digress.
I think you nailed it.
Exactly. Well, the way that they're going
I've
nowadays,
seen a game there.
They're just letting the 6-shooters flow these days.
I was at a game in Lubbock, Nebraska, down there.
Although
Joey Gann's time.
Those 6-shooters shoot $100 bills now. That's what they shoot out. Joe Gann's a good quarterback.
Boy, he's one of the most, I think, underappreciated ones at Nebraska.
Could you imagine?
I think he threw for like that game. I can't remember, but we had the old fake field goal game, and
I
think he threw for 500.
Give me a second, and I'll pull it up for you.
Can we imagine though, to go back a second, a 6-shooter that shoots $100 bills? Jean Morant would love that.
He would trademark that.
If he found an Uzi that could do the same thing, John Morant would be in heaven.
Yeah.
Own that, right?
Get him to the club, it's over.
What was that game? That was Nebraska, Texas Tech, Lubbock. Joe Gans threw for 1 billion yards. It felt like that game. We lost.
That was the Crabtree year.
Crabtree.
Yeah.
We lost that game, but it was the most obvious fake field goal ever.
2008?
Was it Crabtree and Harrell?
Yep.
It would have been Pliny's first year. No.
Is that 2008? It's got to be 2008. Hang on, I'm pulling up again.
Yeah, 37-31, Texas Tech.
Look at the
Nebraska.
stats in that game. What year was that?
October 11th, 2008.
I was right. 2008.
Texas Tech wins in overtime. Joe Gans was...
I feel like
36 of 44, 349 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception.
That was the one late in the game. I think it might have been in overtime. Maybe I can't remember when the interception came.
Overtime.
He got twisted around, tried to get rid of it. One of the most obvious fake field goals I've ever seen in my life.
Meanwhile, Graham Harrell, 20 of 25, 284 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Crabtree had 1, I know for sure.
2.
He had them both.
5 receptions, 89 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Was there for that one, and you.
Nebraska also got 16 for 66 out of Marlon Lucky and 10 for 47 out of Roy Halou.
Mm-hmm.
Now, they did give up like a bill to Shannon Woods, which is not great. Or no, they didn't give up a bill to Shannon Woods. That was, they gave up 97 to Baron Batch. That's who it was.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. It was there.
That was a great game.
It was a great game. Unfortunately, in a losing end, but it was a great game to be at.
Michael Crabtree had 5 for 89 and 2 tuds.
I think despite the loss, that game was kind of the proof of concept for Pliny.
For Pliny, yes.
Yeah.
Hey, Nate Swift had 5 catches for 70 yards. Heck yeah.
Yeah, Nate.
Let's go, Nate. Nate Swift, awesome receiver.
Good dude.
But I like watching Nate Swift catch a football.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's one of my like when I go home and I'm like, whose highlights should I turn on? Sometimes I just go find old Nebraska tape and watch Nate Swift because guy was smooth.
I get to see Nate. He's around town quite a bit. So, boy, look at the CWS. The field is set. We got it all done. Bama gets in. OU gets in. Now we've got the slate to look at. We got the games.
We did talk yesterday of like, hey, maybe this stoppage was the best thing that could have happened for Kansas. They get some momentum back, and then Oklahoma comes back and just starts clubbing home runs again. Never mind.
Maybe this stoppage is the best thing for Kansas. No, Oklahoma just grabbed a blunt object.
I don't think Oklahoma. I think KU went home and probably showered and changed. I think OU just slept at the ballpark in the same uniforms, waiting on them to get back.
Just taking BP the whole time.
We're here. We're just gonna stay here. Can we use the underground tunnel? Can we hit? We're just going to hit. We're going to eat. We're going to hit. When you get back, we'll be warm. You got 20 minutes. It felt like it was that, like you get the first game of the day and the umpire goes, how much time you need? Oh, you went whatever they need.
I was briefly watching on the treadmill during my lunch break yesterday, and I look up at the screen. The first at bat I see is an Oklahoma solo home run, and I'm like, oh, that was fun while it lasted.
Hey, that did have like a great commentary crew on it, though. I will say Victor Rojas is one of the best in the business. And also, I found out the other day, apparently he's coaching for Hastings College as their head baseball coach.
Did not know.
Didn't know that at all until my buddy brought it up. Yeah, he's their head baseball coach. And I'm like, that dude was working for the Angels, like not even like 15 years ago when I was growing up. Because I remember he was on the call for a local Fox broadcast I came across in Oklahoma. They were playing the A's in a midday game, and I watched Mark Trumbo obliterate a ball into the stratosphere at the Oco. And he was like, and I remember Victor Rojas going big fly because he's like the big fly guy. He gave him an extra big for that one. It ended up going like 470 something feet, and I was like, I watched that and I'm like, my God, I've never seen a ball hit that far.
It just disappeared.
Yeah, that ball got obliterated. Like it got out in a hurry. I'm like, imagine seeing a ball hit that far. And I remember where I was when Giancarlo Stanton hit one out of Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
That was a huge deal. It's like, dude, you growing up, like some of these guys are really mythical in terms of power. And yeah, they're still mythical.
Real.
Yeah.
They're still mythical.
God, Mark Trumbo could hit.
Big weekend coming up. College World Series will embark in Omaha. Boy, we get kicked off the right way.
No, sorry, I'm looking up here. What a fascinating career from Victor Rojas.
No, Victor Rojas is one of the most fascinating career arcs ever because he goes broadcaster. There's like some MLB front office work in there. There's some other stuff he's done, like regional ESPN
He did front
games.
office work with the Florida Panthers of the NHL.
Yeah, he's done like
what?
He's done like baseball front office work. He's done like NHL front office work. There's like some strategic management stuff in there. Like it's a fascinating path.
He did arena management, and he also even spent a year doing professional golf instruction.
You know
what?
So the reason he quit ESPN, right? Like the reason he stopped doing like Angels games and like started doing more regional ESPN stuff is because he wanted to get back closer to his family. Like he wanted to start doing like more, like be around his family and such. And then like he started coaching his kid, and then that's how he got into coaching college baseball at Hastings College, which it's such a fascinating career arc. But anyway,
he did also start doing. He was player coach in the Texas.
What did he not do?
In the Texas Louisiana Indie Baseball League.
Yes,
coached travel ball in Texas.
It's a fascinating career arc.
Earned a Los Angeles area Emmy in 2018 during his 11 seasons of award-winning television play-by-play work with the Los Angeles Angels.
My favorite part of what you said that he lists travel baseball coach.
Yeah.
Most recently,
coaching his kid.
Pre
my biggest accomplishment in life.
Yeah, and hey, as a dad, that's a great accomplishment.
I'm in. Put it on a business card.
Yeah, but his son does play with him at Hastings.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason he like got out of broadcasting in the first place, is spend more time with the family, which he's got such a fascinating career. Anyway, like he's a great broadcaster. He did
That's
a great
awesome.
job.
I did not know that.
While Kansas was getting clubbed with a blunt object by Oklahoma. Anyway, the SECWS is going to take place this weekend.
No, we're not going there. There is a full bracket of them on Saturday.
Did we expect anything less?
No.
Yes, I did actually.
I
expected a Big Ten team to make it in some way, shape, or form.
Well, there were a couple that were on the brink right there. That series, that Oregon Tech series was dynamic. USC, they had Carolina on the ropes. In that one, I just could not get it across the
finish. And then Bill Hooks made the call.
No, I tell you what, that was one that's just a game of baseball, right? You look at what Carolina did with runners in scoring position. They were like 1 of 25 going into that game. And it kept going until the 8th and 9th inning. They were able to do it twice. They pushed 2 runs across to win the game, and they end up 3 for 30 in runners in scoring position. That's just a dumb game. You can play 27 innings of baseball, right? And it only matters in the last 2. And USC was dynamic. They were the better team for 90% of that super regional.
That's so baseball.
It is. But again, kick it off, man. How about Friday? A team that I think a lot of people, we've talked about this team, but we're excited to have welcome them to Omaha. They're going to kick it off with 2 good stories. You got West Virginia. We'll kick you off on Friday with Troy, followed by the nightcap of North Carolina, Ole Miss.
Correct me if I'm wrong here. Yeah. No matter what happens in that first game on Friday, one of those teams will be getting their first College World Series win.
Yes, no matter what.
No matter what.
Good story there.
Yeah.
You've got the Carolina. They've been a kind of a mainstay for a little bit of consistency of regional, super regionals, and the College World Series. And Ole Miss returns after a little hiatus for them. And one that maybe Nebraska fans can get behind. As you know, they came through our region.
I have a confession to make.
Confession.
I may or may not have gone to a local establishment, aka a sports book, aka I went there and may or may not have seen Ole Miss as a plus 700 dog to win the College World Series outright, and may or may not have sauced a little bit of my own monetary funds on that. Not a crazy amount. I put $5 on it to win 40, but there may or may not be a slip.
Hey, you know what? If you lose that bet, what's the consequence for you?
I lost $5 and drank a crap ton of cherry Coke at a local establishment.
Done. All right, so you're going to suffer the consequence.
And watch my buddy crash out as the Carolina Hurricanes lost.
If I was to circle the 2 hottest teams and the teams that I think you have the best chance of making a run, I'd circle Ole Miss and Georgia.
I was zeroed in on Georgia.
Ole Miss and Georgia are the 2 teams that I have circled as like those teams are primed based on how well they've been swinging the bat, A, and then B, Ole Miss's pitching has looked really good as well. Those are the 2 teams that are most primed to make a deep run in Omaha, in my opinion.
My interesting part of that is obviously you've got the top side. The bottom, that bracket 2, we'll call it the Saturday, is way more intriguing than the bracket 1. You got 4 teams, SEC, who have battled each other. I don't know the stats on it, how many times Bama and Oklahoma played each other in the season series. I think that is interesting from the chess match perspective because you know how it is. Once you've played teams before, have seen teams before, there's a lot of commonalities in what you're doing. So you know, but Georgia is most intriguing to me. And it probably a little tilted just because you saw their series against Mississippi State. Holy power.
Hey, and I'm a fan of Georgia because I'm all about environmental conservation around here. Somebody's got to feed the trees. And Georgia has a big Feed the Trees campaign going on where they absolutely pepper baseballs into the shrubbery. I'm a huge fan of that. We got to feed the trees somehow. They all need some, environmental conservation is amazing, but Georgia's got some legit wall-to-wall power. I have to hold my hand up and say I did not do a good enough job at researching Ole Miss because that pitching staff is absurd. There is MLB guy after MLB guy just coming out of that bullpen or coming out, and they walk off the bus and they look like a major league team. I mean, you want to win the all off the bus contest. I mean, Ole Miss is a big, intimidating team with real pitching staff and real pop.
Now the storyline with this, we talk about all the pop. The Chuck is not known to be giving up a bunch of bombs. How does that play to this? Are these teams powerful enough, right? We've seen teams come to Omaha with big home run numbers and just not the electricity in the bats that you get in these regionals or super regionals.
Udemark and Becerra, though, I wouldn't bet against them.
I'm not.
Those are 2 guys that can clear any.
I'm not, but I'm just saying, like, there could be like the lack of the power numbers, but there are a couple out there that ain't going to matter.
Well, if you are a home run dependent team for your offense, sometimes you struggle, but that Ole Miss team from a couple years ago that won the whole thing was a little home run dependent, and they got enough run support in Omaha.
With Tim Elko?
Yeah. I mean, Tim Elko was pretty much their offense.
Yeah.
Well, and Georgia's got a bunch of guys who are really going to test the structural integrity of that place because you got Triple Crown winner in the SEC and Daniel Jackson, who's their catcher, who is
he's
disgusting.
That's your Golden Spikes winner.
Disgusting. That guy
31 bombs.
That guy's absurd.
In that range, 31.
Yeah, and he's got like 25 plus stolen bags.
Now,
absurd stuff.
That field, I can't remember the name down in Athens, is hitter friendly.
I'd say
they got a bunch of little league ballparks in that SEC, and we can be frank about it because have you seen Lindsey Nelson that Tennessee plays in?
Yes,
that sucker, a couple of hooks these kids on that travel ball team could hit it out of.
But
like 280 down the line.
Yeah,
Athens also has though the best place to watch a baseball game. I would maybe argue in college baseball, the house in right field, where you're just in somebody's backyard.
The party deck out there.
And it's enough of a short porch out there. You are getting home runs hit to that backyard.
Yeah, it's coming that way.
Yeah. People have to pay stupid money to get that house because it is a rental. And so college kids will rent it every single year, and you have to pay a lot of money to get that house.
I'm sure it's some of the frat boys.
It had that sign on it. They had a sign posted up there on the tree that said, "Feed the tree." It got fed.
Oh, brother, they are environmentally friendly out there.
Feed the tree.
They feed the tree.
A few of those balls were going over those trees.
Yeah. Hey, I will say Nebraska has been on the forefront of this for a while with Haymarket Park and the beautiful shrubbery in center field. They are also environmentally friendly, and they make sure to feed their trees as well. But Georgia's taken this whole environmental conservation to a whole new level, and I think we have to respect that more college baseball programs are going green. Anyway,
but if you're a right-handed hitter, you can go Oppo in Athens. You're not going Oppo at the Chuck.
No, if you go Oppo at the Chuck, it's a flyout.
You hear me quickly roll through my name of all the different names that stadium has had in my head within a half a second.
No, I love it.
And you go at the TD Ameritrade. No, it's not that anymore. Charles Schwab. There it is.
Charles Schwab.
The Chuck. No, but you as a right-handed hitter, especially with the way the June wind blows in Nebraska, typically coming in from right.
Yep.
You're not going Oppo as a right-handed hitter very often.
There is one guy who did go Oppo at the Chuck, and he is in the major leagues. But when Pete Alonso was at Florida, he did go opposite field for the Gators.
Mm-hmm.
And then he hit a ball about 470 onto the concourse in the Chuck. And that's about the most powerful guy that the Chucks contain. I know everybody loves Tommy White. Pete Alonso is probably one of the most fearsome guys in terms of the power aspect of the Chuck has seen.
So the games start Friday. We got it. West Virginia, Troy, North Carolina, Ole Miss in that first one. Then Saturday, that's a noon and 6 o'clock start. No, 1 and 6.
1 and 6 probably sounds right.
Oh no, I think it's 2 and 7.
2 and 7. No,
because it's 1 and 6 on Friday. It's 2 and 7.
Yeah, there you go. So 1 and 6 Friday. Then you get the SEC matchups on 2 and 7 on Saturday.
Let me ask the question because this tells me a lot about who you guys are as a people or as a person. Friday night, are you watching the College World Series? Or are you watching the U.S. men's national team in Game 1 of the World Cup?
I'm a cheap cop-out, and I'm multi-viewing.
Oh.
I'm not a cheap cop-out. I'm watching baseball. I'll be at CUWS watching.
Okay.
Now,
Carolina's going to be playing when I'll be watching.
Now, when that World Cup
I
game,
might be there.
When that World Cup game comes on at 8 p.m. sharp, that is the sole focus of my evening. But up until then, it is baseball. It is baseball. But when the U.S. plays, I am at attention. I was thinking about getting some food. If some buddies want to come over, great. If not, I am locked in on that TV for 90 minutes. Plus extra
baseball.
time.
I love our country. I love us. I love the patriotic nature. I'll be watching. CBS might be there.
I feel about the same just because the College World Series happens every year. The World Cup happens once every 4 years. The U.S. wasn't there last time. That is one of the most special sporting events ever conceived.
Mm-hmm.
It's better than the Olympics. The World Cup is the one thing that brings the globe together. Because even if your team's not there, the globe loves soccer. Not everyone in the globe loves swimming.
Well, this is
archery,
a great
boxing.
Great showcase of American soccer culture and just how far that this sport's come, even in the past several years. But also this team has some real talent on it, and it's really fun.
And this is an aside because we do need to get to Brian Munson. Here we're gonna be a little late giving him a call. Sorry, Brian. But what really jump-started American soccer culture was Tim Howard's performance against Belgium.
Mm-hmm.
What was that? That was 2010? No,
2014, somewhere in there.
Be sooner than that. 10.
10 sounds right.
10 sounds right.
That was a super young Kevin De Bruyne.
Mm-hmm. So that would have been
and Romelu Lukaku was on that team. And
yep. This would have been the what?
They didn't play in 22. They played in 18.
That would have been the 2010 World Cup in South Africa.
It had to have been 2014.
So then the Rio?
Yeah, it was 2014 because 2010 was the year that the U.S. made it to the knockout stage. You got knocked out by Ghana again, but you had the Landon Donovan late goal against Algeria, I want to say, in 2010.
But this team's more talented than that team is.
you could argue this is one of the more talented U.S. men's national team rosters.
Unfortunately, there's a ton of talented rosters.
A lot.
But there's a lot of talented rosters, and the U.S. still lags very far behind.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff.
Anyway.
A lot of great things upcoming for our country.
We're going to dive into that Friday, 10 o'clock hour. We're live into the World Cup once Hooksy gets out of here.
Yep.
He's off to youth baseball Friday for hour 2.
Noon pool play game on Friday.
So you better believe I am going to be spending all of hour 2 talking World Cup. No, I'm not going to do that.
You've been warned.
I'm not going to do that to you.
It's not all true because they'll have Jeff Moats to break up that action on Friday.
No, we're going to make him talk World Cup.
Oh, boy.
Creighton's basically a foreign country, right?
The Art of a Goalie by Jeff Moats. The Almanac.
Creighton's a foreign country, right?
Oh, all right. Let's take a break because we need to take our full attention on this Nebraska football team, this recruiting weekend that just was, and what's still to come. Brian Munson, HuskerOnline.com. Of a Goalie by Jeff Moats.
I had a buddy who decided to go down to the sports book and pick Germany to win it all. Germany. A, their coach is fat. B, they didn't take 2 of their best midfielders. And C, it's Germany in the year 2026. They haven't exactly had the greatest direction in terms of soccer in a while.
Could it be England's year?
No, did you see the roster they brought? It sucks.
It's eyebrow raising. I wouldn't say it sucks. There was some interesting omissions, but I think
that was wrong.
It might be a team that plays well together. It doesn't have the star power that you would expect, but I do think it's well constructed.
I'm taking the comp out. It's probably France's year.
Yeah,
they're the most talented team in the field.
It's not Argentina.
It's not Argentina. Spain, I could be talked into. I could absolutely be talked into Spain.
They're so possession based that they worry me.
But they have game changers now.
I know, but they get really pass happy. But they have Lamine Yamal, so
that's the thing. And they have Pedri.
Yeah.
Pedri, Rodri.
They will hold the ball for 20 minutes and just say, all right, Lamine Yamal.
Well, yeah, that's where Pep gets his style from. Their thing is if you don't have possession, you can't create chances. We're going to starve you of the ball, so you can't create anything.
And they'll beat you 1-0.
Mm-hmm. With 70% possession.
Frustrating to watch.
There was a group stage game in the last World Cup where they had like legitimately 77% possession.
Oh, you want to talk soccer with us?
Yeah, Friday you need to talk the art of a goalie because I'll be gone. You're in soccer land.
I'm going to call Brian Munson.
Excuse me.
Squeeze me.
The U.S. men's national team plays their first game on Friday night. We need your full breakdown.
Elijah said, I'm gone on Friday at the second hour because of baseball. And he said, we're going to spend the entire hour.
I feel a cold
World
coming
Cup.
on. I feel a cold coming on.
Oh, the art of goalie.
Stretch out and defend.
It seems easy.
Dive.
You guys heard about my story trying out for the high school soccer team at goalie?
No.
Almost made the team.
Oh, no, you said. I think you've told
Very
that story
close.
before.
I was the final cut made to the roster.
They needed somebody with experience.
No, they had this sophomore who was stupid good. That was better than me. That got the spot over me.
Oh, I heard my name. What are you guys talking about?
Yeah, just
And
we're going to be
chuckling,
gone.
like, oh, that's not good.
Yeah. The Almanac. He knows everything, including soccer goalieship.
Yeah, right.
All right, we're going to get
Can't wait to preview that one. Brian Munson's loving this too.
Yeah, we're going to get rocking and rolling here, fellas.
Back in the morning hookup. Let's say we've already denied having this guy on. We're losing time in minutes with the best of the business. Husker Online. Brian Munson. B, what's up?
Hey, I'm good, man. I'm icing my wrists and my hands. It was a busy weekend. there were a lot of stories, a lot of commitments, and I think there'll be another commitment tomorrow, and maybe another one, shortly behind that.
Brian, before we get into the recruiting weekend that was, did you perhaps injure your wrist by pounding your fist on the table against Brendan Sorsby and the evil that Texas Tech is bringing upon? I digress.
I was in Lubbock this weekend. I had to admit there was a little bit of a cloud hanging over that program. I mean, just based on the uncertainty of what was going to happen. Then it was just so odd to wake up to the news. I think it was Sunday morning. I think it was like midnight, like 12:23 a.m. that like that the injunction was granted, and I was just I don't know. I have this feeling of dread when it comes to the game of college football just being ruined forever, and that we're just getting it in these small doses. Now, I do feel like there's still, I don't feel like there's still a very good shot that he's going to play this year. I think there's still going to be something else that happens, but I don't know enough about that process. But to me, just to have that happen in his favor and to see all the other things kind of happen that as they were the last, 4 or 5 years, I just don't know what to think about all of it. I mean, it's been such a 180 from the very traditional game that I think that we all once very much enjoyed, I guess is how I would kind of wrap all that up.
It is definitely a weird time where the priorities of life are all confused in the world of sports.
Well,
definitely.
And Brian, as you recover from this weekend with all the typing, you have the headache from the Sorsby situation. You going acetaminophen? You going ibuprofen? You going aspirin? Do you have a preference there?
I was just going to say a bottle of something and with some ice. I mean,
that's the guy.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about.
He said, "Screw all the fancy medicine. Give me Jack and Jim, baby."
This does it better.
Let me self-medicate. I will take care of that. Don't worry about it. It was a wild weekend. I did a very similar deal. I have a sophomore kid that's going to be a junior actually next year, but I didn't have this problem last year when it came to official visits. This year, I had to take my laptop into a football camp on Saturday to keep up with basically the news that was just popping left and right. I got up at 7:00 on Saturday morning and I was already writing stories. And then I just knew I had to I only had a limited amount of time, but it was quite the weekend to say the least. When it comes to the amount of news, I would say that we were all processing. The commitments started, actually coming in on Friday night, which was a little different. You don't typically hear that, see that, feel it. But, I mean, Errol Demontayak, the defensive tackle from from Armwood High School in Scepter, Florida, he decided to go ahead and announce his commitment on Friday night. He just knew coming in that Nebraska is the right place after taking his official visit to Virginia the week before. So I really felt like that one was going to fall anyway. I've had a prediction in on Errol to commit to Nebraska now for a while, but there were a lot of other things obviously over the weekend that happened. Like let's go ahead and just first of all, let's go ahead and talk about 2 mystery recruits that were there too. I mean, because you had Ahmad Hudson, 5-star tight end, LSU commitment, made his way back to Lincoln, and you had Missouri commitment linebacker Kobe Rhymes, who just committed to Missouri, who was just on the record saying that he was not going to take any more trips, and then he's in Lincoln. And then he had one of his fellow Missouri commitment buddies was Caleb Green was working out for Nebraska at a camp and got an offer from the Huskers. I mean, between that and the commitments obviously that they kind of followed that, like with Bryce Williams, Moata Mo, Joey Hunter, Eli Harris. There was you had 5 commitments on the weekend. You lose Caden Howard, who flips from Nebraska to Georgia Tech, but that was kind of a mutual deal. And I think you're still going to add 3 more commitments from official visitors that were there in Lincoln this weekend.
Wow. So that as we kind of talk about just how wild and hot and heavy this weekend was, let's go back to the start, because it was a big shock for Husker fans. How much of a surprise was it for you to see Ahmad Hudson in town?
It was. I'm trying to remember what the date was. I had texted him maybe 3 weeks ago, and I had asked him if he had still planned on taking his official visit when he to Nebraska. When he told me no, that he was done, I wished him well and told him that he was a pleasure to cover. And he's such a great kid. He says, likewise, it's great talking to you. But then to see the pictures coming out from Trey, to see the text message, to see the tweets coming out from the other players that were there over the weekend, I was incredibly surprised. I think that this, people have asked me like what my reaction is to it, like what's my gut feel, like where things kind of sit at with him. I think people have to understand now that the door is 100% open to Nebraska. And we talked about this. We talked about whether or not it was better to win first or lose first when it came to his commitment, because you have an opportunity now to see how the rest of your class is going to kind of fill out, number one. Number two, you're going to see what guys that maybe you were ready to allocate, money for, rev share, NIL, to kind of get them in the class. And now you know where your budget's at and what you can improve to potentially to go grab a guy like Hudson and make another pass at him. And now you know that obviously, there's a lot of power there with Trey Taylor. Trey Taylor, being part of that class and basically what he can kind of do with a guy like Hudson. I think also with the strong words that Nebraska used this weekend about how they could just completely, totally rework their offense and center it around him. I mean, make him a centerpiece for their offense. That just goes to show you, I mean, what Nebraska's thoughts are here about him being a generational type of talent. I think that he sits in both rooms, both wide receivers and tight ends. I think some people would treat that as being maybe a negative and not going out there and saying one way or the other. But I can recall guys like Gronk and other tight ends, that have come through, that have played both spots basically as a hybrid or a true tight. Didn't hurt them. It didn't hurt them at all. So, I mean, guys, even going back to Ben Coates, like those are players that were revolutionary at their spots. I think Nebraska sees Hudson being one of those types of guys if things would all work out and come together for him at Nebraska. So I was totally surprised to see him there. I think it says a lot about where he is at truly with his commitment to LSU. And I think it's also one of those deals where, Nebraska now has a chance to kind of stay in the picture for him going all the way out to signing day. And, and there's obviously the basketball element too. And I know that obviously there was some basketball touring and meeting with the coaches as well when he was in Lincoln. So that part there is also critical to Ahmad Hudson's chances that Nebraska could go ahead and potentially flip him.
Ryan, that was going to be my follow-up with that, was the basketball side. Obviously, spending time with one of these successful coaches at Nebraska, and Coach Fred Hoiberg, coming off a Sweet 16 berth. But how much of that influence is going to piggyback and go hand in hand with football? And because I think that's going to have to be the part of this whole plan, is both of these sports and how he fits in both of them.
Yeah. First of all, Nebraska is going to do anything that they can to get him to come to Nebraska. So telling him that he's going to have an opportunity to play both sports is part of the deal. It's a win-win if they can get him, because he's obviously very talented in both sports, number one. I think that basketball is undervalued or seen as basically being kind of a secondary thing in the decision to Hudson. And it is, but it's right up there. I mean, it is still a big part, a big factor in his decision is the picture that is there for him if he chose to go to Nebraska or LSU or whatever college it was to play basketball, what actually can happen in both sports for him at the school. So I think that's a big part. I think the other big part, is, the family is incredibly tight. I wasn't surprised to see his brother and his mother, basically with him on his official visit. Branson, his younger brother, has an offer from Nebraska already. He's kind of treated as an athlete by rivals. I think the Huskers see him as a wide receiver. This is the kind of guy that if he decided to leave Louisiana, this is the kind of guy I think that his entire family, up to mom, would probably relocate up to Lincoln and just follow Big Brother. I mean, that's kind of what my feeling is, and from the information I'm kind of getting around it. It would be a life-changing kind of thing with relocation, and moving everybody up to Lincoln.
So, Brian, two-parter here because we're talking tight ends, but I don't want this guy to go overshadowed. What type of get is Joey Hunter for Nebraska? What type of athlete is this guy? And there's some intrigue around what Albert Simeon is doing. Did Nebraska make up ground on Texas A&M, who's seen as the favorite? Where do you stand on those two particular individuals?
So Hunter, to me, is, his best days of football are ahead of him. He is a little raw. He has an incredible frame, 6'6", 255. His stats don't overwhelm you when it comes to like what he's done offensively at Grayson, but it shouldn't. He's very effective, like in the short, the under, the intermediate route. He runs tremendous seam. He can be an effective blocker, but I think it's going to be something, obviously, he's going to have to continue to work on. The Big Ten is just a different level. And, usually at 6'6", 255, you can get away with blocking anybody at the high school level any way you want. I mean, it is just, you're so monolithic typically in comparison to the player across from you that you usually don't have to do too much to be, you don't have to be really great with your technique. He's going to have to tune that up. He's going to have to tune up his hand placement. He's really going to be a guy that, if you're looking at the two guys like Hudson and Hunter, if you want to go as far as saying like Seeger Milholland, that's also going to come in for an official visit the 19th, I would put Milholland and Hunter into kind of a separate category than Hudson, because I view them more as like true tight players, like right next to the tackle. And I see those guys playing their hand in the dirt. They do have an ability, I think, they are good enough athletically to where you can put them in a hybrid spot and let them go ahead and go in motion, or put them out there into a slot, and be a hybrid player. But I really feel like they're more going to be the kind of guy that's going to line up hand in the dirt next to an offensive tackle, can help chip on a guy or take on a block or whatever, but also be effective in the passing game. Albert Simeon, he's been very quiet since the official visit. It was very clear, however, in talking to several other recruits this weekend, that he was having a great time while he was there at Lincoln. But that's always been what Albert has said. He has always felt very welcome. He has always felt very connected with the Nebraska coaching staff. You mentioned, basically the number one, team that Nebraska is up against to get him, and that is A&M. A&M is putting together a fantastic recruiting class, particularly their offensive line. And I know that that's got Albert's eye. I know he's going to make a decision for himself, but like there are some serious dudes in that class already for the Aggies. Nebraska obviously, wants Simeon. That's why he was there. They're also bringing additional interior offensive linemen next weekend as well to go along with the other linemen they've already got in the class that are really probably going to be slated to play interior offensive line. But Simeon is a no-brainer. And I think that Nebraska, as much as they probably improve things, I would say that the A&M is likely still going to be in the lead. I think that lead was just so big for the Aggies. But I do feel like Nebraska, the door's always going to be open with them, just because of the way that they have kind of treated him, the way that they have kind of made him feel at home, the way that they said that they basically wanted him in Lincoln every single time they could get him there. I feel like that has been very big, and it resonates with him every single time he comes up.
Brian Munson with us here, HuskerOnline.com, with us on the morning hookup. And Brian, to kind of zoom out here a little bit and look at the month as a whole, I believe it's 15 commits for Nebraska in that class of 2027 right now. What is a number that you have circled as healthy for both this class by the end of this month? And what do you think the staff is trying to get in the boat by the time signing day rolls around in December?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, I think that there's been quite a flurry. If you say that you've got three more or let's say it's two more from the weekend, I see a third next weekend at least, and that's really before, like you get like Cottrell or Kyler Kuhn on campus, and you really kind of see like Isaiah Alvarez, the wide receiver. You're still looking for another wide receiver since you lost Caden Howard. So if you're talking, I think that you're looking to kind of get to 20 by the end of the month, or by maybe let's call it like the middle of July. And then I think you have at least 2 spots open to where you can take Simeon and you could take Hudson. And I don't know if Kobe Rhymes is going to be a guy that immediately would feel like he has to flip to Nebraska, but I don't think he's also a guy that Nebraska is going to give up on. And then there's also his, like I said, his fellow classmate, Caleb Green, who was there for camp, that, picked up an offer on Sunday. I could see him adding his name to an official visitor list and potentially him flipping on a commitment from Missouri, because I'm not sure how good or how well he has to feel about that class maybe getting cut loose potentially, because they're in on some other big-time linebackers. So Caleb Green could get cut. And if that happens, what does that mean to Kobe Rhymes if they see him treat a friend like that? So there's a lot of things here that could play out. But I think 20 by the end of June, I'd say 22-ish by signing day is about the number I'm thinking.
Again, we're speaking to Brian Mons with HuskerOnline.com. Brian, again, looking at the big view, we talked about momentum and what the first weekend meant. Was this what Nebraska, when you look at it, was this the momentum that you were, but one that Nebraska had to have? Because it feels like when you have weekends like that, then there other ones are like, wait a minute, there's dudes getting on the boat at Nebraska. Does it sway that decision for other kids as they see that happening?
Yes. First of all, they had to have a very strong weekend. I don't know if I anticipated it being as good as what it was. I think I underestimated it. I think that this was pretty much ideal circumstances. Short of, Albert Simeon saying that he was committing or Hudson saying he was flipping, which would have been pretty bonkers, to be honest with you. I don't think anybody would have had that on their bingo card. And I don't think anybody else really had the 5 commitments on their bingo card either. I think people, felt good about the majority of them, but I don't think they felt like they're going to get all 5 on Sunday. And I don't think that or by Sunday, and I don't think that they felt like, 2 more could come in, and make it 7 basically by the time the next group of official visitors show up on Friday, So this is precisely what Matt Rule and his staff needed. They needed another jump start. That this is a class that was number 1 for a while, very early on in the 2027, team rankings. They have dipped down now. I think they were at 17, maybe 19 now. It's going to be very tough, I think, to climb back up much higher than that unless they get a Hudson and Taylor gets his 5th star. And if they get a Simeon, that'll all work for them in their favor because those are blue chip guys. But I think that, the other guys are kind of talking about doing right now, it's not really going to move the needle in terms of like getting that class ranking up. But I do feel like the guys that they are offering and getting, like Maato Mo, for example, the guy they flipped from Minnesota this weekend, his film is spectacular. He is in no doubt in my mind completely and totally underrated by the services. He is going to be a fantastic edge in college. I really feel like he uses everything, his hands, his body, his length. He uses it all incredibly well. I think Nebraska's coaching staff is doing a great job evaluating this class, and I think that this is exactly what they needed this weekend.
Brian, really quickly before we get you out, a couple of quick thoughts on some names that remain uncommitted with 4-star wide receiver Matthew Gregory and then Nehemiah Ombani, who's actually set to commit at 12:30 Central Time tomorrow. Where do the Huskers stand with those 2 guys?
I've had predictions in for both of them to commit to Nebraska. I still feel good about that. Nehemiah is, I think Nebraska trailed going into the official visit. I think Missouri had done a great job with him the weekend before. He's now down to Michigan State and Missouri and Nebraska. And I think Husker fans always love, beating Missouri. And I think that Michigan State, they've really recruited well, so far this cycle. Missouri and Michigan State have done a little bit of damage to Nebraska's recruiting board, in all honesty. So getting a win here is pretty significant, I think, for Nebraska, to get Ombani out of Minnesota. Matthew Gregory, he's a guy I think that released the top 7 beginning of April, maybe beginning of May, and it was like Notre Dame and LSU and Auburn and Virginia Tech. Penn State was noticeably absent from the list. But I think things, they kind of figured themselves out for him a little bit and kind of pushed him in a direction. I think a lot of those schools, filled up at wide receiver. I think Nebraska's class has always kind of been waiting for him to pick the Huskers. He's a 10.55, 100-meter guy. He ran a 10.46 a year ago. He's a 7.16 60-meter, and that is a blazing fast speed. That was a school record for him. He's a sub-22-second 200-meter guy. So I think things are reasonably good, for Gregory. He obviously visited UCLA a week before, but I think he feels a connection at Nebraska. I think he feels that he can go there and play a big role. I don't know, honestly. I was a big Cortez Mills fan as far as being a 50-50 guy last year or a red zone guy. I think Matthew Gregory could give him a run for the money when it comes to being a better, red zone, 50-50 high point kind of guy, because his film is spectacular.
Boy, good stuff, Brian Way. Appreciate your time as always. Continue, just, put all the other stuff down, put the ice away. The only ice you need is in that nice glass, and it should be a round. It should be round ice.
I like those round ice.
The big old cube. Yeah, the big old sphere.
You're a constant professional. You need the good ice. I would just suggest that.
Well, I appreciate that, guys. I will not be in Lincoln again anytime soon, but I look forward to sharing one of those with you guys at some point in the future.
Awesome. Great stuff, B-Man. Appreciate you, brother. Take care of yourself. We'll talk to you soon.
Later, guys.
Brian Munson, HuskerOnline.com. Always a pleasure to have him on the Morning Hookup. Let's take our final break, come back with stories that we missed.
All right, long one here.
Long one. That was good.
Then we're gonna have like a minute on the other side.
Perfect.
It's perfect. Enough to say, hey, Kevin Schnall's coaching at South Carolina.
The Las Vegas A's debuted in Las Vegas, and no one cares.
Did you see what they did?
Well, they're playing at a AAA park.
First pitch?
No.
Was it first batter? Maybe first pitch, first batter. Home run.
Oh, yeah. And then the dude hit one 483. Yeah. But a day after it happened, I didn't even know the A's had made their Las Vegas debut.
Boom.
I got my Chicago buddies saying we're playing in the fifth best arena in Chicago against Butler.
We are? What are we playing at? Where's it at?
Credit One Arena.
Whoa.
It's not the United Center. It's not even where the Sky play. We're playing at UIC's home arena.
Yeah. It's near the west side of Chicago.
I told him, let's go to Parkway Gardens and lace them up. If you know, you know.
How many people is it hold? It holds 8,000.
Elijah, are you familiar with the Parkway Gardens neighborhood?
No.
O Block?
Oh, no. I'm familiar with O Block.
Well, that's Parkway Gardens.
What kind of rebrand is that?
Dude, it's Parkway Gardens. It's Parkway Gardens Living. Don't you know about this?
No.
Parkway Gardens apartment complex, also known as O Block.
Yeah, I'm going to keep calling that O Block.
It's Parkway Gardens. It's fun. It's fanciful. It's delightful.
Like renaming a Chirac to the pristine gardens.
I said we should have played at Welsh Ryan so we can get an early taste of what a home road game's going to look like.
They should have them play at Wrigley with the volleyball team.
Yeah, let's play against the volleyball team.
Against them? We lose.
In basketball. We had to cross sport. Nebraska inter-squad scrimmage.
What a good day so far.
Just wait till I play this banger.
Is it gonna make him stand up in the aisles?
No, it's actually designed to knock him down, believe it or not.
Mama said what?
That's called foreshadowing.
Oh,
look, like he knows.
Is it LL Cool J?
No.
I just what I just said. You hear me? Said Mama said knock you.
Oh, no, I didn't hear you.
No. But great LL Cool J song. I love LL Cool J. This is different. This is a blast from the past, Elijah.
Who's tomorrow? Oh, Henry T.
I got to think of the name.
It's called foreshadowing, Coach.
It's not Chumbawamba, is it?
No.
Is it Elton John?
No.
Then I'm out of guesses.
Just you wait.
Oh wait.
No. What is that? The Lion Sleeps Tonight by the Tokens?
You ever been fired? Speaking of, see, I knew I'd get you guys. It has to be more fired up. Well, no. Howard, you not found love.
The lion sleeps tonight.
You want to sing the same parts.
This is impressive.
In the jungle, the mighty jungle, the lion sleeps tonight.
Stream gold.
No, I'm sorry to all our stream
This
listeners.
is stream gold.
We're gonna have to go back and see how that sounds on straight. In my
Probably
headphones,
horrible. In mine, that sounded amazing.
In my headphones, that sounded incredible. Dogs that are blocks
Corn
away.
Raider said dogs that are blocks away and howling.
That's great. That is incredible.
Such how much fun we have.
We do have a lot of fun with this show. It's good.
And we can't find Herb's lady. Question mark, flood extent.
All right, here we go.
Welcome back in the morning hookup. Special thanks to Brian Monson, HuskerOnline.com. And we missed it on the string. Special thanks to Justice and Elijah for serenading everyone on the stream. That was beautiful. Do you have it? Like, you can't even play it back. We'll get to a lot coming up tomorrow.
That was tough.
That's terrible.
Sounded way better in my headphones.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Turn it up in my head. Turn it up in my headphones. Turn it up.
Hey, Kevin Schnall, new head coach of South Carolina. Get ready for a new era of Gamecock baseball.
Kotsky in the portal.
The Athletics made their
more.
debut in Las Vegas.
Home runs. Big day in U.S. Open golf yesterday in the world. I want to talk about that tomorrow with Henry T. Buchanan and a whole lot more. Have a great Tuesday. Catch you on a hump day.